By the time the patrol car coasted past the manicured fountains of Maple Ridge Estates, half the cul-de-sac had their phones out. HOA President Connie Blakely stood on my front lawn in handcuffs, still trying to negotiate her way out of trouble. "This is absurd," she snapped, spinning toward the officer. "I am the HOA. I am security." Behind her, my younger brother Ethan leaned against the porch railing, arms folded, expression unreadable. He couldn't hear her, but he saw everything, especially the way her face flicked between smugness and panic. My video doorbell's little blue light blinked as it recorded the entire spectacle. The officer reading her rights raised his voice, so Ethan could read his lips. "For the record," he said, glancing at the camera, "Miss Blakely is under arrest for filing a false police report, harassment, and violating a restraining order." Connie laughed, sharp and high-pitched. "He threatened me. He's dangerous." Ethan lifted his phone with big letters on the Notes app. "You broke into our house to yell at a deaf person about noise." He held the screen toward her like a cue card. The officer glanced at the note, then at me. "Mr. Dell, do you want to add anything?" I nodded, holding up a thick folder packed with printed emails, violation notices, and screenshots. "Yes," I said. "This has been ongoing for months." The neighbors gasped as a second patrol car pulled up. An ADA compliance investigator from the county stepped out, windbreaker flapping. He didn't glance at Connie. He looked straight at Ethan, signed a simple, "Hello, you okay?" and waited for his response. That was the moment I knew Connie was completely, utterly finished. My name is Marcus Dell, and all I'd ever wanted was a quiet cul-de-sac and decent internet. 2 years ago, after a decade of software grind, I bought a 3-bedroom in Maple Ridge Estates, a freshly mulched HOA community in Willow Park that advertised itself as serene and inclusive. The brochure had smiling families, golden retrievers, and an aggressive amount of rules about community standards. Whatever. I wanted a garage, a short commute, and room for my younger brother, Ethan, to visit whenever he wanted. Ethan's deaf, brilliant, sarcastic, and lethal at Mario Kart. He reads lips like a pro and signs fast enough that my brain has to sprint to keep up. He lives about an hour away in a city with better transit, but when life gets stressful, he retreats to my house for what he calls suburban sensory deprivation. The first time I met Connie Blakely, HOA president of Maple Ridge Estates, was the day I closed. She intercepted me at the moving truck in capri pants and a visor, face radiating self-important authority. "Welcome to Maple Ridge," she chirped, shoving an 8-pound binder into my hands. Tabs, subtabs, color-coded. "Marcus, we like to be proactive," she said. "Our rules keep property values high." I flipped it open. Approved grass heights, holiday decor timelines, trash can charts. "Comprehensive," I said. Her eyes narrowed slightly, detecting sarcasm she couldn't prove. "We take harmony seriously," she said. "Noise," she added, "is especially important. There was an incident with a drum set once. Never again." I should have asked, "Define noise?" Instead, I nodded, signed the last of my paperwork, and made the rookie mistake. I was polite but not intimidated. The first months were smooth. I mowed within regulations, stored trash bins and approved windows, waved at neighbors walking doodle mixes. Then Ethan came for a few weeks. On day 2, he and I were unloading the driveway when Connie rolled up in her beige golf cart, passive aggression on wheels. She scrutinized Ethan from head to toe. "New tenant?" she asked. "My brother," I said. He waved. Connie paused. "He doesn't say much, does he?" "He's deaf," I explained. "He signs." Surprise, discomfort, then a pasted-on smile. "Oh, so brave," she said. Ethan sidled me, signed. Did she just call me brave like I ran into fire? I signed back. Suburban people are weird. Give it a minute. The first real issue came a week later. Ethan was on the back patio video chatting with friends in ASL, laughing, hands flying. I was inside, making dinner. Sharp banging at the gate. Connie was there, arms folded. "Marcus," she barked. "We've had multiple reports of shouting." "Shouting?" I asked. She pointed at Ethan. "He's yelling, disturbing the peace." I blinked. He literally can't yell. He's signing. Connie pursed her lips. Looks aggressive. Some ladies on the path said it's like gang signs. Ethan scrolled something on his phone, held it up. LOL. She thinks ASL is gang signs. I snorted. Connie did not. I need you to keep it. Keep it down, she said, voice clipped. We have standards. People move here for quiet. I stayed calm. He's not making noise. He's in our backyard. You can't police his hands. She sniffed, unconvinced. That energy is upsetting, she said. We have a clause on disruptive conduct in community sightlines. That was the first warning. The second arrived a few days later as a courtesy notice in my mailbox. Our community values tranquility. Please remind all occupants that visible confrontational gestures, shouting, and loitering on patios can make neighbors feel unsafe. I marched to her office, the converted front bedroom where she kept the HOA printer like a weapon. Connie, I said, dropping the notice on her desk. This can't be about Ethan. He wasn't shouting. He was signing with friends. She offered practice, sad smile. Sometimes perception is reality. I shot back. Perception is not ADA law. You can't target him because his language looks different to you. Her eyes went cold. I'm not targeting anyone, she said. I'm maintaining community standards. If your guest can't comply, maybe this isn't the right environment for him. That was the first time radar warning bells went off. It got worse. Over the next month, Ethan was stopped at the community pool gate, told guests, can't be here without the owner. Even though he had a key card, neighbors started giving him side-eye after someone posted on the HOA Facebook group, claiming suspicious loitering on Lot 23's porch, possibly drugs. Another notice arrived complaining about wild hand gestures at all hours. He was literally teaching me dirty jokes in ASL at 3 p.m. Every time Ethan stepped outside, Connie appeared within minutes, on foot, in her golf cart, or coincidentally walking her dog, watching him like a hawk. He tried to brush it off. I'm used to people being weird, he signed. She'll get bored. He was wrong. The overstep came on a Tuesday at 2:17 p.m. I know the exact time because my doorbell camera recorded it from 3 angles. I was at the office. Ethan was home alone, sitting on the front porch with a sketchbook, earbuds in, drawing. Connie marched up the driveway, clipboard in hand. She didn't knock. She stepped onto the porch and started talking at him, fast and angry. He didn't react, of course. He couldn't hear her and kept drawing. So she leaned in and grabbed his wrist. The camera caught everything. Her mouth formed the words, "Hey, I'm talking to you." Ethan jerked back, startled, dropping his sketchbook. He grabbed his phone to type, "I'm deaf. Do not touch me." She snatched at the phone, which clattered onto the concrete. He signed big and sharp, "Do not touch me. Back away." She stepped closer. "You are scaring people," she shouted, hands chopping the air. "Your behavior is hostile. We have children here." He pointed at the doorbell camera and then to the property line. "This is my house. Leave." She didn't. Instead, she pulled out her phone and called 911 right there on the porch. "He's threatening me. He's making aggressive gestures. I think he's on something. He won't answer. I'm the HOA president. Please hurry." Then she stayed, pacing, blocking his way inside, waiting for the police she weaponized. When the patrol car turned into the cul-de-sac, she waved frantically. "Over here." Disruptive guy on the porch. The officer approached, hand near his holster, classic command tone. Stepped down off the porch. Hands where I can see them. Ethan froze, hands up, eyes wide. He pointed at his ears, shook his head, mouthing, "I'm deaf." The officer repeated the order louder. Connie chimed in. "He's ignoring you." "This is what I mean. He never listens. He just waves his arms around." Then my neighbor across the street, Andre, walked out with his phone up. "Officer," Andre called. "He's deaf. He's not ignoring you. And I've got the whole thing on video." She grabbed him first. The officer paused, looked at Andre, then at the cameras, finally appraising Ethan's hands. To his credit, he pivoted fast. He lowered his tone, mouth said slowly, "You're not in trouble. I'm going to write, He pulled out a notebook and pen, wrote, "Are you okay?" Ethan nodded, writing back in all caps, "I'm deaf." Connie came onto the porch. "I'm scaring people," she said. The officer's jaw tightened. "You didn't mention he was deaf." She scoffed. "It's irrelevant. He's been disrupting the community for weeks. I filed multiple reports with our board." Andre muttered loud enough for the mic. "Lady, you called 911 because a deaf guy was drawing on his own porch." The officer took statements from everyone, including 2 neighbors with phones. Then he did something Connie did not expect. He handed Ethan a small card with an email and phone number. "HOA liaison," he said slowly, making sure Ethan could read his lips. "They handle complaints like this, harassment, discrimination." 3 hours later, I watched the footage, stomach flipping between rage and disbelief. By the end of the week, we had the 911 call, doorbell video, footage from 3 neighbors, and written statements confirming Connie's warpath against my brother. I sent it all to the ADA liaison, who forwarded it to the county ADA compliance office, a disability rights attorney, and the state fair housing agency. I thought it would end in a stern letter. I underestimated how much trouble Connie had just bought herself. The power shift began, ironically, with an email from the HOA board. Subject: Incident at Lot 23. Community concerns. They wrote, "Dear Mr. Dell, we understand there was an altercation involving your guest and our HOA president. Please remember all residents and guests must adhere to community conduct standards. Aggressive behavior and refusal to respond to verbal instructions will not be tolerated." I replied with exactly 2 attachments, the full doorbell video and a letter from the county ADA compliance office. Formal investigation opened. Alleged discriminatory harassment. I didn't even have to respond. 2 days later, a very different email arrived from the HOA board vice president, Linda Marcus. "Please know the board takes these allegations very seriously. We were not aware of the extent of the situation. We'd like to speak with you and your brother with an ADA representative present to fully understand what happened." It only got better from there. The ADA investigator, Mr. Alvarez, showed up at the meeting with a binder of his own, smaller than Connie's, but infinitely more dangerous. He'd interviewed neighbors, pulled police records, reviewed HOA emails, and even subpoenaed documents. The word subpoena alone made Connie visibly pale. "Here's what we're looking at," he said calmly, sliding a summary across the table. Pattern of harassment directed specifically at a deaf guest. Repeated attempts to restrict his use of common areas. False statements to neighbors and law enforcement. Unauthorized entry onto your property. That last part isn't just an ADA issue, Alvarez added. It's potentially criminal, trespass, and harassment. Connie sat a few chairs down, arms crossed so tight, I thought her cardigan might combust. "This is outrageous," she snapped. "I was doing my job. People were scared. He never answers." He flails his arms. Alvarez interrupted. "That's called sign language. If residents are uncomfortable, the solution is education, not intimidation." The board shifted uneasily. Linda cleared her throat. "Connie, to be fair, you didn't disclose he was deaf when reporting these incidents." Connie protested. "He ignored me. He was hostile." I said calmly, "He couldn't hear you. That's the whole point of being deaf." Ethan signed quietly beside me, then nodded toward Alvarez. He added another wrinkle. The HOA's own governing documents. There are 501c for community association with non-discrimination clauses. By targeting a disabled individual and trying to limit his presence, the HOA could face serious liability. Alvarez turned to the board. "Unless you act swiftly, distance yourselves from this behavior, and implement mandatory ADA training, consequences could be severe." Within a week, Connie was suspended as HOA president pending investigation. The board issued a formal apology to Ethan. Mandatory ADA training began for all Maple Ridge board members. Connie did not go quietly. She sent out a long, unhinged email to the community about outsiders weaponizing disability. She even continued harassing us, muttering at Ethan in the street just loud enough for him to read her lips. That crossed the line from civil to criminal. With witnesses and ongoing harassment, it became the perfect case for a protective order. The disability rights attorney helped us file. Simple. Connie was not to contact Ethan, approach our property, or interfere with his presence in the neighborhood. The judge granted it after reviewing the porch video. 2 days later, Connie returned to my lawn, doorbell camera rolling. She marched up, waving papers, shouting, "You think you can make me the criminal here?" Ethan lifted his phone and typed, "You are violating a court order. Leave, or I call the police." She slapped the phone out of his hand. Even without sound, the footage was damning. Her body blocking the doorway, finger jabbing inches from his face. When Ethan's sign helped toward the camera, his smartwatch automatically sent a pre-written emergency alert to the local PD. The response was fast. The same officer from the first incident arrived with backup. He stepped between them. "Ma'am," step away from the door. Connie launched into a rant about dangerous outsiders and fake disabilities. The officer cut her off. "Miss Blakely, you were served with protective order last Thursday, correct?" She hesitated. "That order is ridiculous. I'm the HOA president." "Are you denying you were served?" he asked. I received some papers." "Yes, but you cannot violate it. We have video of you on this property, knowingly breaking the order." The second officer was already putting handcuffs on her. She realized what was happening. "Wait, you can't arrest me. This is a misunderstanding." The ADA investigator arrived just in time. "No, Miss Blakely, this is a pattern." He turned to Ethan. "You did the right thing calling for help." Neighbors, who had apparently developed their own version of Netflix by watching HOA meltdowns, stood on their driveways with phones recording everything. Connie finally noticed every camera, the officers, Ethan calm in the doorway. Her social power evaporated. Local news ran a short segment. HOA president arrested amid disability harassment claims. Ethan's face blurred. Connie's was not. After the arrest, the dominoes fell fast. Legally, Connie was convicted of violating a restraining order and harassment. She pled down once her lawyer realized the videos weren't going away. She received 12 months probation, mandatory disability sensitivity and anger management training, and a fine big enough to make her sell the golf cart. The judge added one final condition: 200 hours of community service at a local deaf and hard of hearing center. "Perhaps you'll learn what communication actually means," he said. Connie's face went from white to red to near purple, mouth opening and closing like a fish. 200 hours? At a deaf center? She gripped the table, knuckles white. "This is discrimination," she shrieked. The gavel came down. "One more outburst, and I'll add contempt of court." Court adjourned.